Welcome to HR Works, brought to you by BLR. I'm your host, Steve Bruce. HR Works provides clear, relevant, actionable information on topics that matter to HR professionals. When you're armed with best practices, plus the knowledge to keep your organization in compliance, HR works. It's no secret that there have been dramatic changes in the recruiting world, and maybe even more so in the specialized area of college recruiting, so important to many organizations building pipelines of talent for the future. To help us understand today's college students and how to run successful programs to recruit them, we've asked expert Tom Borgerding to join us. Tom is CEO and president of the Campus Media Group. He works with a large number of notable companies such as AT&T, Bon-Ton Stores, BP, Citi, Deutsche Bank, GRE, Great Clips, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Shell Oil. Tom has been passionately helping companies confidently reach the student marketplace for the past 20 years. Campus Media was also named 100 Best Places to Work in Minnesota in 2016. Welcome to HR Works, Tom.
I'm excited and delighted to be a part of the show. Thanks for having me on.
So let's get started by talking a little bit about today's college students. Millennials, or I guess maybe today's graduates, are Gen Z, what they're looking for and what attracts them.
So talking a little bit about some general statistics, almost even bringing you up a level in regards to the target market. So just some industry information. So 6 in 10 jobs require at least a 2-year college education, so almost 60% There's a 14 million person shortage of college-educated workers by 2020 projected. At this point in time, 47% of the workforce is under 34 years old today. The average employee is estimated to be 31 years old by the year 2020. Tenure for millennials, recent employees is around 3. It's actually moving a little closer to 2 years. And there's such an importance to understand and to be hiring correctly and to be hiring in ways that help millennials and as we get into Gen Z, which will be coming soon. The earliest age of Gen Z is now 19 years old. As we start moving into these new generations, we need to be, it just seems like we're just now figuring out what the best practices are for Gen Y, or millennials. To be able to get into Gen Z is starting to be almost an interesting transition. So when we think about what millennials are actually looking for, there's really 4 key ones that jump to mind is growth. They want an opportunity to continue to grow. That doesn't necessarily mean going up the corporate ladder. That means greater education, greater opportunity, the ability to move from one opportunity to another. It's almost considered like a social web now. So if there's an opportunity to do something, they want to try it. They want the opportunity to do that. They've been told that they could do anything they want their whole lives, so the opportunity to do that within the workforce is important as well. They want mentors. They want people looking out for helping them achieve the goals and the things that they want to achieve. So just, again, that corporate ladder or that flat directional career, or just being caught. They want people that are going to actually look out for their greater interest and help them get there. They want to be able to work with friends. They enjoy working with people, not just people that they're going to enjoy working with during the day, but people they want to hang out with at night as well. And then last, really the benefits and the pay is still a part of hiring good millennials, hiring these recent college graduates or college students, but making sure that we're competitively paid and we're providing good benefits are great ways. And generally speaking, employers who that have names and brands that students have heard of have a better chance of hiring some of the best students. So it's awareness and that brand building that helps within the recruitment process for this age group.
Well, then, how do you go about building that awareness and that brand of your organization on the campus?
So we believe in 2 main things. So if you walk around a college campus, you typically see two things happening. Either they're hanging out with their friends, they're talking to each other, they're sitting in class, they're learning, they're having that face-to-face experience with each other. That's still really important. That's still key. It's always been key within most generations, is having a relationship. But the other part that again, if you walk around a college campus, what you're going to see is really people on device. And that could be their mobile device, that could be their laptop, it could be a tablet, but they're on a device. You see very few times that you'll see students reading newspapers or magazines, or even if there's a TV on in an area, you'll find more people with their heads down watching the screens that are in their hands rather than the screens that are on the walls. So ensuring that both there's a FaceTime and the opportunity to use digital, especially mobile, for engagement purposes, again, to develop relationships, create opportunities for them to know more and learn more about your organization. As we continue to look further into that, the relationships with key people on campuses, as you look at developing relationships on campus, and relationships become really important. If you're working with a career center, especially in the employment side, if you're working with a career center or career services on some campuses, they're also called, they want employers to be a give and take with what they're doing. So you're not just calling them saying, hey, give me your best students, but you're calling them and saying, hey, how can we actually help you? If that might be information sessions, if that might be resume reviews, can we give are there mentors that you guys are looking for? Are there ways for us to engage in on your campus rather than just being a taker? And in talking to career services, many different career services across the United States, really understanding that they want to have a relationship as well. And when they do that, they have a better chance of leading students and being influencers of students looking at an organization and looking at which organizations to look at that are going to best fit their goals and objectives. So it's that key relationship, helping out, making sure that it's both directions. So making sure that you're connecting with those career centers. They will help you. They will give you recommendations and suggestions on who to speak with, if that's professors, if it's student groups, if it's introductions to the diversity, disability, LGBT, or Veterans Affairs, or women in business, or any of these other student groups that can possibly help you achieve the goals that you're looking for. Again, offering up mentoring, information sessions, speaking opportunities for both classes as well as student groups, and even being able to talk to deans and professors about what kind of content exists, if there's an opportunity to provide some sort of influence into ensuring that you're finding the students that they're getting educated in the way that they're going to be the best asset or best value for you when they get out of college. But again, that's not going to those schools and going to those people and saying, hey, give me these kids. This is what I'm looking for. It's actually helping develop that. And then really brand awareness, taking it to that next level. Again, students are more likely to want to work or to seek out and to research companies that they want to work for. They're going to do that through awareness. So if you are going on campus, if there is an information session that you're going to have, if you are going to be speaking in a class, if your recruiters are going to be there, or a partner, or some of your key leadership, not necessarily just recruiters, are going to be there, make sure that students are aware of that. If that's pre-event marketing, if you're using Facebook to put messages in Facebook feeds, if it's putting posters or sometimes called flyers on campus so that those announcements are taking place, outreach to key people, using mobile advertising, for being able to reach people on their mobile device, students on their mobile device. There's some great advertising channels that exist there. There's inbound marketing, which is the ability to have content that you develop put in front, be found, so to speak. So if you like this, podcasts and blogging and vlogging and things along those lines, where students are looking for content and searching, and that content is made available to students to be able to engage with. And then lastly, really your website, having a mobile-friendly website, having clear calls to action. Those clear calls would be obviously applying, but also watching a video. It could be signing up for a newsletter or announcements that are happening, travel schedules for recruiters, anything along those lines. Is really trying to figure out how to create engagement through your website and have having them start to follow you.
Okay, thanks. Now, you've talked about building relationships with students. How early in a student's college career would you want to start working on that?
So historically, what we've seen, juniors and seniors are really that entry-level, full-time types of positions, but some of the key companies out there, bigger companies, are starting to push their internship programs as young as freshmen. In some industries that are getting really competitive, especially with that shortfall of the number of people that are going to be educated in specific industries. You look at finance and accounting, medical, some of the STEM degrees. There's a real shortage there. So in some cases, they're actually pushing younger and all the way into high school. But what we're typically seeing is that sophomore or junior as the key recruiting time periods for internships and developing the brand to college students.
Okay, thanks. Now, what if you're not a high-flying tech company? You're just a company. What do you do to attract attention?
So the first thing I would say is have a good careers, campus-specific section of your website. If you're hiring enough students, ensure that you've got videos. Make sure that it's obviously, again, mobile friendly. That you're engaging. It's not just a brochure about your company, but it's really a way to be able to learn what your culture is like. And that's great to be able to do that through video. Interactions or interviews with current employees, developing that side of your business, and that website becomes super key. Again, 98% of students going to employer websites before they apply. Developing relationships with those career centers. They are a fantastic resource to be able to help you understand how to best work on that campus that you're trying to recruit at. They are there to help you. Their job is to help make sure that their students find jobs, that they're successful in that way. Talk to them about what you're looking for, why you're trying to reach the students, why you're trying to reach the students. Talk to them about your culture and the opportunities within your company, and then also be able to give back on that side. Develop relationships. Again, don't just be a taker, but develop that two-way communication. And then socially, use social and mobile to be able to communicate with students. That would be the simple first steps.
Okay, great, thanks. Now, how do you select which schools you're going to recruit at?
Well, there's a couple different ways. So one of the things we typically will understand, most companies start with, is looking at the people that they've hired in the past, who's working, so getting some metrics around which employees have been successful within your organization. Not every school has the same culture. Not every school and the types of students are all the same from school to school. So understand what your history has been like. If you're trying to figure out where to find students next, and which schools could possibly be a fit. So one of the things that we've done is we've built a resource around helping companies identify the best schools. The U.S. government, part of the Department of Education, has a large database of information in regards to different schools. We've taken that information, made it simple to use for recruiters to be able to see what the diversity, gender, by degree looks like. So if you're looking for which schools have the highest number of electrical engineering female students, that you can actually do searches for that if you have that as a particular goal. So you can break it down that way, and then really tie in which relationships and people to talk with or speak with on every college and university. So understanding not only which schools to speak with, but really at those schools, who do you need to speak with to be able to get to the right students that are going to fulfill your hiring goals.
Okay, thank you. Now, turning to measurement and metrics, do you have any particular metrics that you recommend for evaluating college recruiting programs?
Yeah, consistently what we're seeing is different recruiters measuring from dollars to hire, how much are they spending to hire one student, doing that math every year to see if they're getting more efficient or if it's getting more expensive. Part of that is obviously economic conditions as well. How many applicants does it take to hire? So understanding what your percentages and what your numbers actually look like, how long does it take to get to your hire, the length of stay for existing recent hires or college candidates, how long have they stayed within your organization? The quality of the hire, what that means is more, are they moving up within the organization? Are they making an impact for your company? Next one that we use is hiring per school. Are there are hires per school? Like, how many are you actually hiring from an individual campus? If you haven't hired anybody from a school and you've been trying to recruit there for the last 5 years, start to question why you're actually going after that, or do you need to change something inherently with what you've been doing in the past? How many hires do you have per degree or particular program that you're hiring from? So understanding that. And then the resource, so a few years ago, the National Association of Colleges and Employers rewrote their standards for college recruiting. And within that, if you're really struggling in regards to how to develop these equations, there's a whole section in regards to developing those measurements, how to get there, where to even find that information within different organizations, and what typically different employers are seeing, especially within their university relations programs. If you don't know, and again, I'll offer this up to your listeners, is if you don't have that, or if you don't have access to be able to get into the naceweb.org website, to email me, I'll be able to share some of that information with you.
Well, thanks. Okay, now, if you're able to, do you have any a case study or real-life example of a college recruiting program that's really clicking?
Yeah, absolutely. This is always the fun part of our job, is trying to figure out how to create effective campaigns based on where their goals are at, as well as where their budgets are at. So one of the simple ones that we had is an insurance company that was looking to hire actuarial students. And we were looking both nationally at jobs across the United States. We were trying to figure out where, not only defining which schools to place, again, job posts at, but developing relationships within those career centers, and asking them if there's opportunities. So we used not only job postings, but the career centers, as well as using social media, meaning we were within Facebook, LinkedIn, some of these other social media channels. We were able to place information about the job and the opportunity into their social feeds. And then on their website, they made some changes, some structural changes, to have more information about their culture, specific opportunities, and the ability to grow within their organization. Because it was an insurance company, one of the recommendations we had with them was get out of, especially for these entry-level positions, don't use too many industry terms that students may not understand. So if you're looking for what could be a salesperson, don't make it a complicated industry term that students who may not be familiar with who you are currently, that they may not understand. So I have talked to different students that have said, I opted out, I self-opted out because I didn't understand the terms, and I didn't understand what customer service really meant. Was not necessarily fielding problems, but it was actually sales. They didn't quite get the terminology changes from one from within that industry. And then again, ongoing outreach to candidates, so using candidates that have already applied through your ATS, use your systems, use your contacts that are already in your funnel to be able to develop those relationships. So for them, it was a fairly simple process of not a lot of money, but just getting the message out there and making sure that their message is seen in places where students can engage and learn more. On a mid-range level, we work with one of the big four accounting firms. So they're hiring a lot of accounting and audit students. They've got a specific campus-related URL, so that helps them tell the story. So they're using the stories and videos and text through interviews of recent hires, again, 1 to 3 years is what I'm defining as recent hires, to share what it's actually like, and what the work-life balance is like, and how their life is continuing to grow and advance by being a part of this organization. They also have their recruiters on campus. They're visiting regularly. They're engaging both groups as well as professors, the career centers. They're offering up mentors. They're offering up opportunities to tour and see their buildings and local offices. they're also bringing in partners and people that are higher up in the food chain to come in and speak. They're offering those people that in some cases would be fairly difficult to get on an individual basis, but they're offering up the opportunity for them to come in and speak. They also have internship competitions, so again, they're hiring a lot of students every year, but they're developing competitions within that to start to create that competitive nature and how to and the right thinking to fit the culture of this firm. They have newsletters. They consistently stay in touch with people that have actually tried to apply there. They've also stay in touch with people that have worked there in the past. So if they've had an internship and and that internship is over, they've got separate communication and separate brand building and relationship strategies for just those people. And then again, they've got a strong social media presence. Part of that is actually quick response to questions. Social media for millennials is about quick response and being able to like things. They expect that from the companies that they try to connect with online. And then on their website, they're using something called retargeting. So they're using their career pages to develop retargeting. So if you've ever been to a website, and you see this in a lot of cases for retailers, is the ability to go into their website. You look around and you leave and you see ads for whatever you just saw on that retailer's website. So you're looking at a pair of shoes, those shoes are then in the ads. You can do something similar for if people are looking at accounting jobs or engineering jobs or looking at specific culture things. You can reinforce that through advertising after they've left your website. There are a bunch of other full events, and I talked a little bit about what we did with Shell. With the Shell Ideas 360 a little bit earlier with a large inflatable tent and creating a culture. There was information about that on their website, the shellideas360.com. We've got information out there on that.
Before we close down here, any final tips for our listeners about successful college recruiting?
Yes. This again, simply make sure that as you're hiring students that they're a culture fit. Help them figure out the transition from college to the real world, to working for your organization. Help them through that. Help educate what culture actually means. Be honest and transparent about what it's like to work there. This is presenting not just the glowing things about your organization, but some of the challenges and how it might be different from other companies. Millennials live in this world of instant gratification, so the idea of making them wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get a response or any kind of update isn't really acceptable. So keep your communication consistent, keep it quick. Don't let them wait. If you guys need time to think, then let them know that you need 2-3 weeks to think, but don't let them just hang there. Engage in their lives, engage in areas that are within their social circles, if that's student groups and organizations, if that's depending on if there's one company that we talked to that they're trying to recruit varsity athletes, so they're getting more involved in varsity athletic events, so being able to connect with those athletes. Use the career centers as the next one. Use the career centers, faculty and staff to help you find the best students. Use your recent hires and peers to be able to talk with your target candidates. Take advantage of those students, those employees that you have to be able to communicate peer-to-peer. Next one, don't leave them hanging again once they accept. So post accepting a job, if there's a delay between them starting, don't go quiet between the acceptance and the start. They do want to engage if that's in getting them involved with their hiring managers or with their team specifically. A couple of resources that we have specific to university recruiting. Our blog, we do blog about this topic regularly. Our website is blog.campusmediagroup.com. You can sign up to be able to get the regular newsletter there. We also have a Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn pages. The MyTaska website is also a good resource for helping figure out which schools to recruit at, developing relationships. But that site and that blog and MyTaska, mytasca.com website is designed specifically for university content, university recruiting content. And then again, I'm always happy to help out. So if people want to contact me directly, I can be reached at tom@campusmediagroup.com, or our Twitter handles, campus_media, or the Mytasca is Twitter handle is at Mytasca, again, MYTASCA, and you can always reach me on LinkedIn as well.
Tom, that's great help. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we really appreciate these very helpful tips.
My pleasure. I love, obviously, passionate, love the topic, and if again, thank you so much for having me a part of this and for being able to talk about university recruiting on your show.
Listeners, please let me know what HR Works should cover next. That's sbruce@blr.com. Thanks for being with us today. This is Steve Bruce for HR Works.
The opinions expressed on HR Works do not represent legal or any other type of professional advice and should not be used as a substitute for legal advice from a qualified attorney licensed in your state.